What is going on, fam? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan Janice and I'm the founder of Nomadic Fitness, where I teach women how to eat more and work out less to look and feel like a goddess every day year round with zero restrictions. In today's video, I am walking you through a full day of what I eat to fuel my workouts, to have lots of energy, to feel really satiated and satisfied with no weird cravings, and to, of course, get lean and build that muscle definition. So I'm gonna walk you through everything that I'm eating so you can see what I'm talking about when I say eat a lot of food to look and feel great. Let's get into it. All right, first thing I start my day off with every day, like so many of you I'm sure, is a cup of coffee. I usually end up having 2 per day, and what I do is I add in a teaspoon of honey to give it a nice natural sweetness, and then I add in 50 grams of soy milk to get that little bit of extra protein, and I really like these two together to give me a creamy, sweet coffee that is still with clean ingredients. And then I just pour the coffee right in, mix it together, and it all blends together perfectly. All right, so now on to the actual meals of the day. So here I just finished up at the gym and I'm gonna be making my post-workout / my first meal, which is gonna be for breakfast. So we're doing some breakfast tacos. I'm just spraying my pan with some olive oil cooking spray. Make sure you use a clean oil like that, either coconut oil or olive oil or something like avocado oil, but avoid the processed ones that are a lot of them, unfortunately. And then I'm just breaking up a bunch of kale in my hands to get some veggies for this meal, and I'm making enough for me and my friends, so there's going to be kind of a lot in the pan. Then I'm going to dice up a little bit of red onion just to get some extra flavor, throw that into the pan, and then I'm doing 3 eggs total. I always do that much because it is a good amount of protein. That's 18 grams of protein from the eggs right there. So throwing that in, sprinkling on some sea salt, and then I'm going to let that cook for a little bit. And then once it started to cook, I'm just going to take the pan off of the stove, put it back on my scale so that I can add in some cheese, because I want to be able to actually measure out the cheese that I'm using. So I'm doing 30 grams of quesillo. This is quesillo, which is also known as Oaxacan cheese or stringy cheese. So it is the cheese that is famous from Oaxaca, which is where I'm currently living in Mexico. And I love it because it's actually not so high in fat and it's pretty high in protein, and it tastes really, really good, and you only need a little bit to make the meal super flavorful. So adding 30 grams for each of us to the eggs, and then throwing that back on the pan, letting it all cook together. And then once the eggs are cooked, I'm serving it with 4 corn tortillas, which is another thing I love about living in Mexico, is you can get fresh corn tortillas every single day. They're completely organic and they taste so good. So I'm going to be adding the eggs onto the corn tortillas to make little breakfast tacos. But of course, you can definitely get corn tortillas at Trader Joe's or most grocery stores, or you can also use wheat tortillas, whichever you prefer. All right, next up is for my lunch, and I'm gonna be having some proats or protein oats, which I pretty much have every single day. I've been having it for years. I just love it. It's so tasty and it's so quick and easy to make. It's like a 2-minute meal and it keeps me really full for hours. So that's why it's such a go-to for me. So I put the pot on the scale so I can weigh out 80 grams of rolled oats, not quick oats, rolled oats. I so much more prefer the texture and flavor of rolled oats. And then I'm weighing out 250 grams of soy milk. And the reason that I really like using soy milk is because it's a little bit higher in protein for a plant-based milk as opposed to like almond milk or anything else. You can use any milk you want, but that's the one I like. And then I'm taking a banana and chopping it into pieces right in my hand, throwing that in, sprinkling on some cinnamon, and then just putting the pot on the stove to let it cook over low heat for about 3 minutes. And then while it's cooking, I'm just going to chop up some strawberries to throw on top. And then once the oats start to boil a little tiny bit, that's how I know that they're ready to go. So I take it off the stove, put it back on my kitchen scale, and then I'm going to weigh out my protein powder. I'm using this Birdman Falcon protein. It's a vegan protein powder, totally organic, and it's from here in Mexico. Again, I really, really like the taste. It's definitely my favorite plant-based protein powder that I've ever had. I'm obviously not plant-based, but I do mix it up sometimes and I try out different protein powders. So I'm adding in 40 grams of that, which is going to give me 30 grams of protein, and then throwing the strawberries on top because I prefer to have them fresh rather than cooking them in the oats, but it's up to you which way you want to do it. And then just at the very end, I'm sprinkling on a little bit of seeds. It's a mix of chia seeds and flax seeds just to get a little bit of extra nutrients because seeds have really special nutrients that you can't really get from other foods. So I do it for the health benefits, not for the taste, and it just makes it look a little bit pretty. I don't always add the seeds, but sometimes I do. So just throwing that on top, and boom, that's another 5-minute meal. Super quick, super filling, and tasty. All right, on to the last meal of the day here, my dinner. I'm going to be making a chicken cheesy pasta. So first, I'm just gonna set a pot of water on to boil with some salt, and then once the water is boiling, I'm gonna throw in my pasta. So I switch it up with the pastas that I use. I'm going to be using a chia seed pasta today. I also sometimes use a quinoa pasta or a brown rice pasta, and sometimes I also just use regular whole wheat pasta. But if you have a gluten intolerance, definitely using some other type of seed or grain pasta is gonna be really great. And bonus, because even though it's a carb, it's actually pretty high in protein. If you plug the numbers in MyFitnessPal, you'll be surprised how much protein you can get out of this pasta. And I mean, who doesn't like pasta? It's so satisfying. So while the water is boiling and the pasta is going to be cooking, I'm just going to be chopping up some chicken. So I'm going to be making a few servings again. So I'm going to be chopping up a bunch of chicken, but I always usually do 150 grams of raw chicken breast per serving because that gives you just over 30 grams of protein, which is kind of what I aim to have per meal so that I know that I'm getting enough total for my day. And then I'm just adding in 1 teaspoon of olive oil per serving, or 5 grams, and sprinkling it with some sea salt, and then letting that saute. And then next I'm going to get my veggies ready. So when it comes to your vegetables, you can use anything. It does not matter, whatever you like, whatever you have on hand. The whole point is just to make sure that you are eating vegetables and that you're getting the different colors so that you're getting all the different health benefits. So today I have zucchini, so I'm just going to chop that up into small pieces and throw it in there. And now I'm just going to add in the final ingredients. So I have a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, which maybe sounds a little bit weird, but I actually call this recipe a cheesy chicken balsamic pasta, which, yeah, it sounds weird, but trust me, the flavors actually go together really, really nicely. It's kind of like a little bit sweet and savory, which I really like. And then I'm gonna take the pan off of the stove once again so that I can actually weigh out my cheese and make sure that I'm getting the right amount. So for this recipe, I love using goat cheese because it melts really easily and is nice and creamy. And also the macros are pretty good. It has a 1-to-1 ratio of fat to protein, so I like that it's not so high fat. Feta is the same as well. If you don't really like goat cheese, you can use feta, or of course you can just use anything. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. So I'm weighing out 30 grams of goat cheese per serving. Sometimes I do 45 grams, and it's 15 grams for 1 tablespoon. So about 2 to 3 tablespoons of goat cheese, throwing that on and then letting it melt. And then I'm just adding in a tiny bit of diced cherry tomatoes at the very end just to give it a nice little pasta flavor. I always think cherry tomatoes on a pasta are really nice. And then it's all cooked up, just measuring it out into the different bowls, adding a little bit of black pepper, and voila, you have a really filling, quick, easy meal that tastes awesome and is just gonna make you feel so full and energized and give you great results with your fitness because it's high protein, high carb. All right, FitFam, that is everything I eat in a day. A lot of really quick 5 to 10 minute meals that are delicious and are going to make you look and feel amazing with ease without feeling restricted or deprived. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some ideas for making healthy meals yourself. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more good stuff coming your way. I'll see you in the next video.